What's up everyone, Jonathan here from your French Canadian Studios, bringing you another devlog for Dementophobia. Hopefully everybody's going well. I'm going fantastic. So this week we had more progression on the development of Dementophobia. A little bit slower this week because I had a lot of personal things to do again this week, so didn't have the chance to work a lot, but I did work a good 6, 7, 8 hours on it this week. Hopefully next week I'll have a lot more time to work on it. But before I start that, please, of course, if you enjoy all the content you see in this devlog, definitely go support on all the channel. You can go on Twitter, FRCan Studios, or over on YouTube at French Canadian Studios, and of course, pretty much everywhere you can find, well, pretty much everywhere, a French Canadian Studios. Of course, if you'd like to become a patron, if you're not watching this on Patreon, go, of course, on patreon.com/French Canadian Studio, where you can become a patron and support development of Dementophobia and all future games that we all make at French Canadian Studios. So back to the devlog. Hopefully you enjoyed a small little progression. This week was more of a finer detail kind of work I wanted to do. I wanted to work on sort of, right now what you're seeing is pretty much working on floor molding, sort of doing a plastic kind of molding that curves at the bottom, which is usually located around the floor. So at the beginning here, you're seeing me a lot of me trying to figure out the best way of doing it so it's one continuous piece instead of all separate pieces against the wall, because that would have been longer to do. And it wouldn't probably look nice in the corner. You'd probably see like two different pieces smashing together. Instead, now I was able to make one nice continuous piece all around one room, and of course in the corridor or the hallway of the first floor of the game. And yeah, so that's what I worked on pretty much at the beginning of the week, just to get everything working so it doesn't cut through the doors and things like that. And then further down during the next day I worked on it, I decided to work more, further during the night of the same night, I started doing sort of a mid-wall crown molding, because I wanted to see, as you'll see further down in the video, I wanted to make sort of a two-tone wall where the top is a painted wall and the bottom is sort of a molded aesthetic, not molding aesthetic to the sort of more refined look for some reason on the hallway. So I wanted to split up, instead of it being just one single color, I wanted to do a small little design. So I put a mid-wall crown molding, and then after that, the next day you'll see further down the video, I decided to do a little pattern design with the same molding, but instead of going all across the midsection of the hallway, I just did sort of a square piece, which was a bit more work to do because I was having problems there, and I'm still not used to every little things in Blender, so I'm still getting used to that. And yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoy a small video. Not a lot, it's a lot more texturing adjustment towards the end. I adjusted sort of what they call the normal map, basically what is the allure of the bump texture. So you see me a lot of screwing around with the walls, trying to get the paint texture right, because you would think paint is just like a single color, but try to make it more realistic. Paint does have sort of a paint texture to it. It's sort of a small little bumpy thing when you cross your hand around it. Like painting does leave like a sort of a slight bump to it, and I was trying to adjust it so you can see it when you're looking at it, that it is like gold painted. So that's what I think I was working on, just the finer little detail. So when I bring it into Unity, it looks a lot better. So it definitely keeps up with the realism of the game. This next week, hopefully I'll be able to do what I want to work on next week. For the video will be more, I want to do the outlets. I think that's where I'm at right now. Outlet, power, more the light switches and stuff like that. So those are going to be the small little things. So we're going to be starting molding a lot more little hard surface things to make everything look a lot nicer, more realistic. And yeah, so definitely going to be working on that a lot more. Hopefully I get a lot more progression than next week. I'm really hoping I really got to kick into it right now, because I've got a lot of stuff to do. I would like to get this game out in the next year, hopefully. So the biggest part is just molding, creating 3D models of everything. That's going to be the longest, I would think. And then after that, it's just figuring out how I want to implement it. I'm still trying to figure out, because this game will have 2 stories basically. So now I'm still in the process of figuring out if I'm going to do it all in one single sequence. So there won't be any load screen between 2, but then it might be more taxing on lower end PCs. So it might be 2 different ones. So then I'm going to have to try to figure out how to transfer over. So how many batteries you got and all that. So there's a lot of things I'm going to have to figure out as I'm progressing with the programming and all that of Dementophobia coming down. And of course, if you're watching this and if you want to check out the game and you haven't tried out Dementophobia Prologue, which is basically a smaller version of what I'm making right now, definitely go check it out on itch.io or in GameJolt, where you can find it in the link in the description below if you're watching this on YouTube. And of course, if you're watching this on Patreon, it's probably one of the other posts I have under it too, so you guys can check it out. And of course, if you want to go support Meantime Gamer, go definitely check out patreon.com/French King Studio. Every tier gives you something special. Go check it out. I got a little video, about a 5 to 10 minute video there, 8-minute video explaining everything you get for each tier, so you guys can get exactly everything you see. So yeah, I'm just blabbing on. So thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Go follow me everywhere at French King Studios, and I really appreciate you stopping by, watching the video. I really appreciate all the support that I'm getting and all the cool little stuff. Of course, in Instagram and in Twitter, definitely see some of the other projects I worked on for small little things I've been working on, like a small little donut tutorial. We did like one on sort of a beginner's tutorial, which I worked on. It looks pretty cool, so definitely go check that out. And I'm going to try to do too, once in a while, try to do little 3D model projects that are not necessarily related to the game, so you guys can check that out on Twitter and on Instagram. I'll usually try to post regular pictures during the week of what I'm working on, as much as I can without ruining the game, the future. So thanks so much, guys, for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Keep on.
Make sure you jive on the side. through. Then you get